obviously one of my longtime friends, somebody that I've looked up to for a very long time, and it's a privilege to have him here to share his experiences, what he's been through, and just his perspective on life. So, Travis, first question I have for you. What would you say was the first person, or what was the first thing that introduced you to the discus?
Well, firstly, thanks for having me on the show. It's a nice avenue, so we can flesh out and talk about life, sports, and everything. So thank you for that. Um, in terms of my earliest influences with regards to throwing, I would say there is this guy by the name of Noel Facey. I don't know if you know about him, but at the time he was the senior thrower for Calabar. Mind you, I never know nothing about throwing. It was a case where what I used to do before anything sport related was music. I was a drummer. Um, I used to go to champs and play drum for the crowd. You know, so basically, how I got into throwing was they were looking for people to represent Calabar, and this guy came up to me and said, "Yo, you look like you could do some throwing if you're interested." And I said yes, but in all fairness, I wasn't really interested. I just said yes to end the conversation. But there were times he had seen me and he kept asking when I was coming. And as you know, eventually I got there. But being in the environment, he was the one who was my first role model. He was my first role model. He was the guy who was throwing, at the time, I think he was throwing like 15 meters in the shot and about 51, 52 in the discus. So me seeing that was amazing because I've never thrown so far in my life. And to me at the time, it was very far, So Noel Facey was the first and he was the earliest influence in my life with regards to getting a more vested interest in the throws.
That's powerful to hear. So, obviously, Noah played a vital role in your introduction to the sport. While you were transitioning into loving the sport, can you pinpoint a specific, time or period where you say, I actually love this thing. Like I'm passionate about this and I love this thing.
All right. I think it would have been this one meet. There was this one meet I went to. I think it was in Saint Elizabeth, Stetstrap meet. I don't know if you remember Stetstrap meet. But before that, if I can tell you how that became like the changing point, the turning point for me, it was we're in the off season. I was training, learning the technique and all. I remember, I just started throwing, and I started late. I started in October. It was my last year, class 2, and when I was throwing, my coach said to me, Coach Robinson, he said, the qualified mark is 32. You need to get over that mark. So at the time, I think I was throwing like 25 or 24. So something there. And obviously I was learning. And as the weeks passed, especially because I started late, I wasn't really feeling like I was progressing. I didn't feel happy at the time. But I was there and I was like, yo, I've never made well, apart from when I was in prep school, I've never made a sports team in high school. I used to just do music, and I'm like, this is a good opportunity for go champs, because everybody love champs, and my mother can see me on TV. So in that period, I was just like, yo, me could try make this, me could try a trophy, make the team. And then I went into my first competition, which was JC track meet. You know, we always start, well, we started at GC and then we gear for JC.
Yeah.
But I was, my first track meet was the JC track meet, and I can remember that track meet where Mr. Cunningham from Bridgeport, Cunningham from KC, Rajay Gill from Monroe, Wolipa, different people from different school. I come and see the man them a throw. The man them a throw down. Man them a throw 38-40 like and nothing. Then me see, I think it was Cunningham. Cunningham throw about 45. I remember, in them time then, 45 meters was like, wow, yeah, do good things, you see me? And I remember that first meet, it was very frustrating. I think I threw like 28. And I finished like 7th or 8th, somewhere about there. But I started getting more interested in the craft. Why? Because I was thrown into an environment that I didn't understand. A competitive environment where everybody trying to throw. It's a game of distance, everybody's trying to throw far and win. It was a very different experience. My first trap meet, it was a very different experience. For the first meet, and then as we came down to the other meets now, I started getting more interested and saying, all right, cool. We need to qualify, we need to beat them guys here. And I think as time progressed, I developed a competitive nature. And then now, for going down to the states meet, I think I went to 2 meets after. I just wasn't getting it. Just wasn't getting it. And I was like very frustrated. I'm like, yo, I can't bother. And then when we were at states, I think I throw like 20 something again. And coach called me one side and said, listen, man, just relax. You don't have to over. You know, you give the coach talk. You know, coach always give the talk. And then relax and follow him instructions, and out of nowhere, I throw about 40, 44, 45.
From 20.
Yeah. Yeah, from about, I think my best throw going before the 45 was about 31 or 30. And I just threw 45 out of nowhere. So I mean, and then from there on, then everything started rolling out. I came to training early, was doing the program. I got motivated. It was really a nice feeling to know that I could actually do that. You get what I say? Yeah. So yeah, that's basically how all of that happened. I think States meet was the meet where I really changed my attitude towards training and towards achieving great things.
Yeah, I'm noticing a trend amongst successful people is that in their initial stages, there was this period of trial where you had to kind of go through the fire. And as a former Calabar man myself, I can attest to going into a team like Calabar with a standard that's, very high. You're wanting to win the championship. If you're looking at it from like a football perspective, the depth chart very deep. You're probably ranked 5th going in, and only 2 can go to the championship.
Yeah.
But I think, again, a lot of the successful persons that I've spoken to or listened to, they always say that it's those moments where iron where is either you live up to the expectation or you live up to the competition and find another gear and make it, or you just fly by the wayside. And I feel like it's overcoming the adversity, finding a way to just see the problem as just another obstacle on the path of success. So it's always good to hear person's perspective on what they've been through. And I feel like your story, just you transitioning into the sport is just very amazing. So with that in mind, from you being somebody throwing 20 something meters, which in the world of throwing obviously isn't anything, from throwing 20 something meters to going to throwing 60 something meters, what was the mindset like where no, there's an expectation of Traves Smikle? It's not just go out there and perform, it's go out there and win or go out there and bring back a medal for your country at the high school level. What was that kind of pressure like? And how did you feel as you were transitioning into that expectation role?
You know, what's interesting about that question, is when I was in high school, the first international meet coach and I set our eyes on was the World Youth Championship in 2009. I think it was a place in Italy called Bressanone, some village. And I can remember preparing the season in general, but also trying to get to that level. Now, at the time, this was like in 2009, nobody never cared about throwing. And that spanned into all areas, from the regular man to the big administrators. And I can tell you, I remembered when we were trying to get to World Youth, it was a difficult task. It was a period in which, as a junior, I was throwing like, as a youth, I was throwing like 55 with 1.5 at the time. But if you put me against what the world is doing, you had guys at that time who was throwing like 59, probably like a 62. Numbers with me never yet thrown in my life, right? But at the time I was throwing like 55. And, in Jamaica at that time, it was very hard to even fathom or even comprehend them actually considering throwers to go on these meets, to go to these championships. And, my coach, he worked tirelessly to ensure that we'll find a way upon the plane. And it took a lot of work. It wasn't like a sprinter who just run, go at the trials and run and do what them have to do, and then met the team. I did what I had to do at the trials, and I still had issues getting on that team. And I really can't say much about it, but my coach, he did a lot behind the scenes to ensure that I got on that plane. And it wasn't about getting on the plane alone. If you know me, making a trip is one thing, but I want to go there and do what I need to do to make a final, get a medal.
Yeah.
You understand? For that year, I went into World Youth with a PB at 55, and that was the qualifier. Now, being at World Youth, nothing was expected of me, and that is just the truth. And this is why I can say, in the first international meet that I went to as a junior, I never felt any pressure from the administration or outside. The only pressure I felt was a little from my coach, because he wanted me to do well. And how serious there when him wanted to do well. And the reason why he was so passionate about especially in that time what we could possibly do at that meet, is that it would now then open the eyes of people to say, yo, not because an athlete is not at the level yet means that they don't have the potential to get there. But how do they get there? You have to put them in the position to get there. You have to give them the right exposure. So if them qualify for a meet and them do everything them supposed to do for go to the meet, there should not be an issue to select them. And me and you, Kyle, say a whole heap of people go to these meets with nothing on them shoulders. Them not nothing to them name. Nobody don't know who them be. And then take the occasion and take the moment and then just reach another level. And they produce performances that even them surprised. But that can only happen if you put some people in the position to get to that, to get to them potential. You understand? And for me, going into World Youth with a PB at 55, me I go against a man who would that throw like 64. And a fun fact, Ryan Crowser was in that lineup. And there was this other guy from the US that was there with Ryan Crowser. I can't remember his name, but him, Ryan Crowser, and this guy from Syria, they were throwing like 63s. And preparing for that meet, when I was over there, I had my coach wasn't there, right? I was the only thrower. Everybody else a runner. Nobody can help me because nobody really business about throwing. So off the advice of my coach, and my coach collaborated with Mr. Pagan at the time. They collaborated and they told me what to do, basically. When I was there, I think I only got in like 1 or 2 training sessions because there was not anything provided for me to even prepare properly, right? Nobody knows this. So when I was at World Youth, all of the runners, them get them training and them program, and everybody was preparing. Nobody never know what to do with me. You understand? I was just there, and I had to find ways to even get a one throw. Funny enough, I went into the competition area. I sneaked into the stadium one evening to try to thief some throw. I'm nearly to look out the timer glass. You see me? So I then look at things that made I have to do in my first junior meet. Even try prepare myself to go against guys who were like 64. Remember, at 55, I go in the win. And then on average, you had throwers who were throwing like 59. All right? Anyway, the prelims came, and I found out that to make it to the finals, you have to throw 57.
Oh, you have a
57, 57 that was the automatic qualifier. And my coach said, listen, man, let the chips fall where they may. Just go out there and do your best. And I remember it just like yesterday. First round, first throw, 57. Mash. Calm and cool. You see me? Calm and cool, and just put on my jacket and go prepare for the finals the next day. And when I went into the finals, I think it was Dr. Paul Wright. He was there along with somebody else, I don't remember. They were supporting me because I made the finals, and everybody was happy. And they're like, all right, see if they can compete with them, boy, I remember they were saying that, come on, man, let me hit the 60. And coach, before that final, said, yeah, believe in yourself and go out there and do your best and go hard. And I remember my first throw. I just said, when you reach the front, bust it. I'm going to bust it, I'm going to throw 60. First in my life, I ever throw 60 meters.
Yeah.
Right? Then, I think it was in the third round or so. 61-2. 61-2, I start put man under pressure. Under pressure because, remember, me are the one when nobody now really watch. Yeah, for do nothing. It was Crowser. It was this guy from Syria. It was Crowser's teammate and about 2 other person. But so I'm throw the 61. Who going a world with 63 PB, 62 PB can't find nothing. The only 2 persons that beat me that evening was Crowser, and he beat me by 4 centimeters. And the guy from Syria would throw 64 and to win. And that experience has stayed with me even up until now, because it was a very challenging period, although there was not a lot expected of me. It was a very challenging period because, as you know, as an athlete, when you're going into a major championship, you try to prepare as best as possible. You try to get the rest. You try to get the weight room right. You try to get your mind right. You try to do the things you need to do to ensure that when you go out there on the day you're supposed to compete, you're equipped and ready. I never had any of that. And I never had any of that. Me, you just have the will. for one throw far. And that motivated me because in that very same year after World Youth, I got called up for the Pan Am Juniors team. It was my first Pan Am Juniors team. And a PB there again. I came third. And I moved from a PB at 53 to about 57 with the 1.75. So the point I'm making with all of this is this. Had I not gotten the exposure, maybe I could not have seen that I could have thrown 61. If I never did get the exposure, maybe I wouldn't have the confidence to go to Pan Am's and throw 57, moving from a 53 PB. You understand what I'm saying? And then these little things will motivate you to work harder, to be more appreciative of the event, to become a student of it, and just be better overall. So that is my experience with regards to what was expected of me as a junior. I mean, I went to World Juniors and I made the finals, yes, and at that time there was more expected of me because of what I did at the youth level. Yeah. I understand. So it's a mix. I would say it's a mixed bag of experiences. Good experiences that has taught me a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't remember who said the quote, but I was reading somewhere and it said, pressure is a privilege. You know, and I really thought about it because it made so much sense to me, because for someone to expect something of you, there must be something about you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to a level where people expected something of you because you proved yourself over the years. Even when they doubted you, even when they didn't believe in the vision or never could have say in the future, you know you're in a position where this person has proved over and over that, he's the right person. So now we can expect that, he's going to do what he's supposed to do because he's always done it. And I think that's where we kind of get into this mental health issue thing, because now there's all this pressure on us, but at the end of the day, we're all still humans. At the end of the day, we have a life. At the end of the day, it's not everybody going to wake up and everything in their life is the same. You have people who at an early age losing, parents and stuff like that, and it's not everybody going to cope with that the same way.
Facts.
So to your point in terms of exposure and all those things, I'm 100% supportive of that, and I feel like not bashing any federation or anything. I just feel like we, even as athletes, can do a better job of ushering in the new generation, giving them encouragement. As much as it's difficult to, as you may know, just in general, to make a living out of this sport, it doesn't mean that you can't live a comfortable life and you can't have, some form of success, because at the end of the day, I'm at a place now where I realize it's more about success than it is status, and individual success is what is important. So if your goal in life is to go to the Olympics and that means a lot to you, I don't think a check or a certain amount of pay or salary should deter you from, chasing your dream, because I know a lot of persons who have millions of dollars and then can't buy a Olympic finals. you can't buy experience, you know what I'm saying? And I feel that's what, and I think that's what the whole purpose of like this podcast is, just to let people know that there's more to life than what the world says. I think life is individual, is what you want to achieve in life and your perspective.
Well, say a lot of throwers that throw. I don't think it's because them know them going to get rich out of it. I think it's the passion when them have it, the love and passion, and the personal goals them want to make for themselves. Obviously, if you perform well, good things will come with that. But I'm telling you, man, talking to a lot of them, them tell me, say, yo, Traves, I love this sport. I love what I do. Yes, I work a 9 to 5 here. Yes, I do this here. But this throwing, it gives me peace of mind, and it actually makes me enjoy my life. So, I mean, the goal is, you love what you're doing, you want to make some money, but at the same time, It's not about that all the time. You know?
I agree.
I agree with you.
Yeah. So moving on to something else that I feel like a lot of people might be curious about. So
Mhm.
for those who don't know, Travis is a two-time Olympian, 2012 Olympics and the 2020, well, 2021, but it's called the 2020 Olympics. So
Mhm.
Travis is an Olympian, multiple-time world championship performer, multiple-time national champion in Jamaica. A lot of persons might be curious. What is your pros? What are your strengths in terms of discus? What are the things that you lean on to be proficient at your event and basically make you stand out as a thrower in general?
Well, for me, I believe wholeheartedly that a good technique, a good technical throw helps me a lot. I know that some people will say, well, suppose you don't get the technique done right and you and you try to throw far. Yeah, that will happen at times. But for me, I try to ensure that my technique is at a certain level that I can reproduce and produce good performances. I I'm also a believer in strength training, but as of late, I've been doing a few things differently. That I'm seeing good results when I compete. So if anybody know Traves Smikle, them know say one of my favorite lifts, for example, a bench press. And a lot of people may, well, for the guys who used to train with me and the guy who still train with me, they know I've lifted like over 500 pounds in the bench. And it was a lift that I enjoyed. And for some time, it used to help my discus because, I mean, if you lift them weights there, oh, you can't throw the discus far,
Yeah.
you know. But recently, I had to find a different way to do things because I have flexibility issues, as do a lot of athletes, right? But I realized that superior athletes are athletes that perform well consistently. Them level of mobility and flexibility is on a level that's if you can be flexible and mobile while competing and relaxed, you will more than likely do well. So in the past, three to 4 years, I've been working on that. And I think that has added to the strength of my throwing. It is something that has helped me even up to this season right now.
And I
Being
guess
able
the consistency is the most consistent I've seen now.
the between last year and this year is the most consistent I've ever been. And I can tell you what I've done differently is work on my mobility. I paid more attention to it. Um, I've immersed myself into getting getting to that level where I can be relaxed and execute. Because sometimes when you tighten up and you get stiff, you really don't produce what you know you can.
Yeah.
And in the past, what I used to do is that, especially if I'm in a heated competition and I try to throw the other opponents, I start get stiff. I'm start tighten up, and it was just as a result of not paying attention to these are the things. And I always tell people, it's in the world of sports, are just some little things you need to work on. Just some little things. So yeah, really, really on a physical level, those are the things. But I always tell people, most times they're your mind.
Mm.
If you can find a way to conquer your mind, I think anybody can take on anybody and beat anybody and perform at them highest level. And in a sport, them have this thing where them say, them get in the zone or them have this flow state. That's literally training your mind to take on this task. Although difficult, it is enjoyable. At the same time, you have somehow put yourself in a position that you don't care about what is going on around you. You just care about what you have to do. And a lot of times, I can say that when I'm in competition, sometimes I not focus. I'm just focusing on the occasion and everybody around me. And I've recently learned that if you can settle yourself and calm your mind, you can compete well. And it's as simple as that. There's no magic trick. You have to work hard, first and foremost. You have to understand your body. But apart from all of that, you have to conquer your mind. The mind's a powerful thing. I strongly believe that.
No, I agree 100%. I've been doing a lot of research and reading just about the power of the mind. And I feel like just putting yourself in challenging situations in general is something that we naturally shy away from. But
Mm-hmm.
there's so much power in actually doing the things that we don't enjoy doing. And I think discipline is something where people talk about a lot, but I think the focus is always on motivation. But if you really think about it, without discipline, there is no motivation. Motivation can come and go. It's like emotions. It's like saying you want to be happy. But discipline is almost like joy, because joy supersedes happiness. So when you have the
Yeah.
discipline to say, I'm going to do this regardless of how I feel, regardless of the external situation, I'm going to do this, because the more wins I can stack up with myself, the more I can be confident in my own decision. Because for myself, I've experienced that when I create like a ultimatum for myself, if I said, hey Kyle, you're going to do this for 5 days this week. And every time I would do it for 3 days or 4 days, I didn't realize that I was creating a subconscious thing in my mind to not believe in myself. And basically my mind was adjusting to, you're not going to do it and you can't do it because all the things that you said you were going to do, you didn't do it. And when I
Mm-hmm.
actually took control of that and started to force myself to do the things that I needed to do, I realized that I had so much more confidence. I realized that the mountain didn't seem as tall anymore, because I'm like, the mountain tall, just like you mentioned, these guys are giants. But guess what? I'm a giant slayer. I believe in myself. I believe in my work ethic. So it's
Yeah.
powerful to really hear you say that. And it really means a lot. And I think a lot of persons are going to resonate with that, because we all have that within us. We all have the version of ourselves that is going to be able to do what we want to do. But it's to tap into that version of yourself that's going to see any kind of success. But yeah, definitely. I feel like just kind of transitioning from the mindset aspect, which is very important. I believe most important, even more important than the physical. What would you say were some of the most challenging mental things that you had to deal with over the years, just in general?
Uh, well, the one that's the word, if I were to choose a word that stands out in my mind, it would be confidence. There was a point in time where I had confidence issues. And, you know, I went through a very difficult period and it shattered my confidence 100%. And it also caused me to have negative thoughts. I mean, mentally I'm tough, but a lot of mentally tough people have to deal with a lot of demons by themselves, especially when you lie at bed at night and things just run through your mind and you wonder how you're gonna survive this. I've been there. I've been there many times, and it it has manifested in many negative ways over the course of my life and career. There's a point in time where, obviously, if you're feeling this way and you, especially as a man, you feel like you're not on a purpose, you just start the bare foolishness. Started to party more. And that, if anybody know me, I really, I do go to have a good time, but I'm not a party guy.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't care about my diet. Start eat whole heap of food. You know, people stress eat. I think it was stress eating at the time. And you know, that affected a lot of things, like got overweight, fitness was down, get more inflexible. It was just a whole heap of things. But if it's one thing that I took from that, from challenges over the course of my life and career with regards to obstacles,
Mhm.
was that only you can take yourself out of it.
Yeah.
Just like how you study for an exam, you can you can you can copy a SBA, you can ask a girl for the SBA, you can go up on YouTube and do a SBA. But at the end of the day, you have to go sit the exam.
Yeah.
And me have to really give myself a talk. Not one night though, but a couple nights. I feel I say, yo, brother, nobody's not gonna do this for you, you know. You have to find your confidence. You have to find your will. You have to find a discipline. You have to find a way, and that is life. You have to find a way. Whichever path you choose, you have to find a way to make the path work hard and make it. And I mean, I've had my fear challenges in different areas of my life, not only sports wise, and I had to find my way out. And we're in 2024, you know, having grown up a bit and having more experience in my life. You know, I look back and I say, I'm still not there yet, but I'm so much more better as an individual today as I was back then. Yeah. So it's really a journey, as I would put it. And everybody have a journey. This is just how I've grown from it. You know, I'm more confident. If you see me, you know, I weigh over 290, believe it or not. You just can't see it. You just can't see it. But just to show you, it's healthy weight. Obviously, as a thrower, you know, you have to be a certain size and whatever. But if you can find a way to not let that be unhealthy weight, good. For me, you know, I've the pathway that I'm taking in my life, you know, it's a more positive one. I'm positive physically, positive mentally, positive spiritually. So, I mean, and mentally, I'm in a better place. So all of these things coupled into what I am today. I hope all of that makes sense.
Because I feel like what I'm hearing is something that, you know, especially as men, we struggle with a lot. And for myself, I think I went through that phase of, struggling with self confidence because in my last year of eligibility in NCAA, it was probably the worst season I've ever had in my life. Just in terms of, coaching and the back and forth and getting a new coach. It was just
Mm.
very tough for me. But it wasn't until probably last year that I actually dealt with those, quote unquote demons that I had to deal with or I had in that during that period. Because during that period, all I was doing is the coach fault and the coach not doing this and the coach irritated and if the coach is a better coach and blaming all the things that I had no control over. And it wasn't until honestly last year that I really sat down and let go of the burden. And I sat down and I thought about it and I was like, I was so focused on the things that I couldn't control that all the things that I could control were out of control, And it wasn't until that moment when I actually sat down and I said, as bad as, from a coaching standpoint, this coach was, what value could he have added to my life that because I was so frustrated and flustered in myself, I didn't allow that to kind of work in and through me. Maybe that would have put me in a position to actually have some kind of success. But I
Yeah,
think I was
and sorry, go ahead.
no, yeah, I was so caught up in what I thought success looked like. I thought that it was supposed to be this linear progression, and I just get better and better. And when the things in front of me were starting to dwindle and didn't look like it was gonna go, I start blaming people instead of blaming myself. And 100% right now, especially as a man, I think 100% of the time everything is your fault. I think you have control over everything, and even when you feel like you don't have control over it, you do. You have the power. If you don't like how you look, you have the power to change that. If you don't like how much money you have the power to change it. It just is a quote, and it's kind of silly, but now that I'm older, I'm more mature. I 100% believe in it. Like when I was younger, people would say, "Where there's a will, there's a way," and it's just people say it all the time, but no, for real. Like when there's a will, when for myself, when I have two kids and a wife and a dream, there's so much things I want to do, but where there's a will to do it, there's a way to do it. Maybe the way hasn't been created yet, but maybe it's up to me to create the way. And I think just having that mindset, kind of seeing that similarity between what you kind of did and I did, I really just went inward and searched myself and, kind of adjust the things that I needed to address. And that's when the world around me, to be honest, kind of changed. That's when my
Yeah,
perspective on life changed.
good. Yeah, and I'm happy that you see that you have to make the change. Listen, your coach, you can blame your coach from now till the morning. At some point, you have to learn to do certain things yourself. I was on a team. I was on a team. Um, I think it was in 2017, and I was speaking to a colleague of mine, one of the athletes, and I was talking to her about certain issues that I had as an individual, and oh, my coach now see it the way me I see it, and blah blah blah. She said to me, she said, "Travis, listen, and listen well. At some point in your career, obviously you're your coach going to be good. You're going to work together, you're going to do the program, and you're going to produce. But there are certain things at some point in your career that you just have to do yourself. You just have to get up and be like, we need to do this. You're definitely not going to stray away from the goal and the vision that you and your coach have. But a simple thing like getting a massage, doing your core work. If your coach cannot make it today, you still go to training and train. Because a lot of times, people and athletes don't realize that, yes, the same coach where I chastise uncles, them have a life too. And things are happening for them life too. And you cannot blame them for everything, where you literally have the power to do the simple things or do things that will even aid in them helping you. So I've learned that you just have to just take up the mantle at some point in your life and just deal with it.
Yeah,
That's how you're going to grow.
I agree. I feel like that at this point in time. I feel like that's just knowledge that a lot of people need to hear and experience.
Mm-hmm.
And once they experience it, they'll know it. Because it's something that's hard to describe. It's just something that you experience. And when you experience it, you just know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
For sure.
I think just thinking about that, what comes to my mind is, the next generation of people, not just Jamaican, but the generation of throwers who will come and take up the mantle and move forward with the sport. So for those who are watching and those who are fans of Traves Smikle, those who use him as a technical model, you being a left hand thrower, obviously a lot of the best left hand thrower, a lot of persons are gonna want to see you. You know what I'm saying? So for all those persons who watch you or just are interested in you as a person, what are some tips you have for that person who is wanting to go professional or is aspiring to have some kind of success in throwing in general?
The best thing or the best advice I can give to anybody who wants to take up this thing professionally, well, who advice? One, you have to love it. Getting up every day and training the way we do, you have to love it. To me, if you don't love what you do, especially for the fact that certain things are not guaranteed, it's madness. You don't love it and certain things not guaranteed, but you're still getting up to do it. You're not gonna really give your all. You're really not gonna push the way you're supposed to. And two, marry discipline with consistency.
Mm,
Being disciplined is vital, right? And being consistent is also vital. If you can get the two working together, you can achieve great things. And I'm going to tell you the other day, I think today is what, Friday? Yesterday I had my gym program. Hired. I tell you, said the program I have, it I feel like at some point in the session, I feel like me have a drop down. But I told myself that even if I have to take off a little of the weight and finish the reps, you have to do it. There's
mm,
no way you're going to elevate as an athlete, as a thrower, if you're not disciplined and if you're not consistent. There's no way. And success leave clues. I say it all the while. Anybody who you see successful on a certain level, look at them training regime. Look at the hours them put in. Look at the sacrifices them making. It's not easy. And nobody said it was easy. And that's why it's so nice. That's why it's so precious when you achieve what you need to achieve, when you hit a PD. Because say you put in the work. And lastly, although I said two, is really three. Trust God. Trust God. You have to include God and trust God in everything that you do. You
mm,
understand? You can't trust yourself till you start doubt yourself. And me I talk from experience. Everything I go good. Technique, nice. In the heat of battle, something off, the rain start fall. Your technique start feel all over the place. And because you've been trusting yourself, all is while not including God, it becomes very difficult. You must believe in yourself. You must trust yourself, but you have to put God in it. You see me?
Yeah.
Those are my advice.
I love that. I love that. And I feel like it's it's something that I've heard a lot recently, especially from other professional athletes, where a lot of us or a lot of persons see the glory of going to Olympics or the glory of going to World Championships, but they can't even comprehend the story, what it took to get there, like what it actually takes on a day in day out basis to represent your country at the Olympics. And I know, especially just speaking for Jamaica right now, like the depth in discus right now is crazy. Like when you look at a country like Jamaica that has less than 3 million people, and I'm 100% sure we have over 10 people. We have 10 people right now throwing over 60 meters. And
Mhm.
even though the qualifying mark might be 67 or close to 68, just throwing 60 is a big deal. I feel like that's already, if anybody's throwing 60, they have some kind of potential to do good things, depending on whether or not they want to. But
Yeah, yeah.
just,
I'm not gonna throw forever. At some point, me I gotta stop throw. And in the past 2 years, I look on upon the guys them where I will come take over, and I'm like, yo, we're in good hands. We're in good hands. Um, Recently, Broderick just threw 62. He just left JC,
yeah,
just left JC, and he's I think he has gone to 2 meets. He's thrown 62. You have Ralford opening season were there with 64. You have Big Stoner. Stoner already throw 68. Stoner, to me, is the most impressive out of all of them right now. Because that guy, if him can build up a level of consistency in him throws, it's going to be a problem. But
but
it's even
even like that's what I mean sometimes when I say that. As you mentioned Stone, I think about why I really started the podcast. And I'm not gonna, talk in business or anything, but when I see somebody like Stoner who is a promising athlete, you who is at the helm right now of discus throwing in Jamaica is vouching for him and saying this is somebody who can carry the next generation of discus throwers forward from a Jamaican perspective. And to know that there's somebody like him at that level, and again, not bashing any federation or anything, but knowing that somebody at that level is kind of wondering and pondering, is this something that I want to do? Can I really make a life out of this thing? Because me, say it's great to have a passion for something, but especially as men, there comes a point in time where it's like, all right, this might be my passion, but passion don't pay bills. How am I going to pay these bills?
it's the truth. It's the
Maybe,
truth.
exactly. Maybe that's what I'm saying. Maybe it's a conversation where we just need to have with other people that have done it before. Like, listen, having somebody like you or even a Banji or somebody who has experienced some form of success can say, hey, listen, it's not going to be easy. You probably have to get a part-time job. You probably have to do something on the side. You probably have to live below your means. You probably have to make a lot of sacrifices along the way. But if the top is where you see yourself in the future and this is what you really want for yourself, that's a really small price to pay. If this is really what you want. If
Yeah,
you want to use a degree, because that's the thing, NCAA, you come here, you get a degree, and now you see opportunities where a job is saying, hey, here's $50,000, here's $60,000. And then you have a conversation with a thrower or a professional thrower, and he's like, man, last year I only made 5,000. And you're like, I don't know if I want to go through that. Instead of just looking at it like that, looking at it, all right, 5,000, well, maybe I need to work a part time job so I can fund what I need to do and can do what I need to do. Because maybe the next 2, 3 years,
yeah,
I'm going to be at
yeah,
the level where I'm earning way more than 50, $60,000 a year from a salary, and I'm going to be doing something that I love. That's what you mentioned earlier, doing what you love. I feel like that's what we really need to start push on this new job
yeah.
towards.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you said just now because when you leave university and you're going out into the real world and you're not getting any financial support and You're in limbo. You're like, all right, I want to do this, but I don't have a contract. I don't have any means lined up to even earn a money. How the hell am I gonna survive? And I want to mention to some of the female throwers. You remember Tara Sue?
Yeah.
You remember Kelly and Nib?
Yeah.
You remember Shanice Love?
Range.
You remember Grange? Look at I want to show you say these young ladies, them didn't even reach my age yet. I'm still pretty young. And these girls are talented. They just don't have the support.
Yeah.
And them have to live. Them have to pay bills. Them have to survive. So then put it down and go work. And there's no shame in that. Me, if when me done and me look back on everything and me not really make nothing out of this, me love them, I love it. But there's no shame in going to go look at work now. There's no shame in it. And that is what these athletes have to do. As I say to a day, I say, a whole heap of athletes want to see and bad mind. These athletes have to work a 9 to 5 and a train because they believe in them dream and passion.
Yeah.
But yet still, you know, they had a bad meet. You're quick for bash them. You're quick for say negative things about them. It's a cruel and sad state of affairs, and it is just life. It is just reality. Jamaica, one of the hardest nation to deal with when it comes down to performance. Because you can get a silver medal and them say, so why you never get the gold?
Why never, I forget the goal? Why never brought the world record?
Why never brought the world record? And, you know, it's an honor representing Jamaica. Every time I put on the black, green, and gold, it's an honor. It's really lovely, you know? But trust me, man, there are a lot of things at play that people don't understand. And it is not, no athlete has the obligation to go around and talk about them life and struggles. But I think that a lot of the supporters and even people that can help, they have to exercise more grace on the athlete, them, man. Exercise more grace and be a bit more lean. It's not easy. When you put your body through trauma and stress every day of the week, just for represent the country and do your best. It's not easy, you know?
Yeah. No, I agree 100%. And obviously, I'm at the place right now where obviously I don't have the resources yet financially to do that. But again, as somebody who's passionate about the sport, somebody who's passionate about their country, it's definitely a conversation I keep having with people who either I think can help or can point me in the direction where I can, you know, help other people. But I want it to be a case where I see it with the Americans, and again, not bashing them or, you know, jealous or anything, but I see the Americans like they really support the athletes, and they really support the dreams of the athletes. Like even if somebody not passionate about it, but they just want to go to the Olympics, they support that because they're like, that's a big goal, so let me support it.
And I don't want people to get it twisted, you know. They still don't have it easy.
Yeah.
You know, I've met some real nice throwers, respectable, funny people who are Americans who represent America, and they've expressed their struggles to me. And if you don't have a conversation with them, you would never know, you know. And I guess everybody everywhere have them for them version and for them level of struggles. And that's just life.
That's life.
That is just life. You just have to deal with it. Easier said than done, you know, but you have to just deal with it.
Yeah. I think we have to just deal with it, and along the way, if we can pass on this knowledge that we have and understanding. I 100% believe say the next generation of athletes are going to be the generation of athletes who make the change. Because obviously everybody's saying the track and field, being that Usain Bolt not in the sport, not no more attention to the sport. But we're entering into a digital age, and with that, everything will continue to innovate. And obviously, track and field is a sport where definitely can never go extinct. It's one of the
Yeah.
first, if not the first, sports. So I think we're going to grow as a sports, and I think that especially Jamaicans, being who we are, we're going to continue to push the barriers and do what we're supposed to do. But obviously, it's up to we as the current generation to be the catalyst for the next generation. I don't mind standing in the gap. I don't mind getting the bashing and the laugh after or the criticism, because I know that it's for a cause. It's not. I'm not doing it to benefit me. I'm not doing
Yeah.
it. I'm not doing it to benefit my friends. I'm doing it to benefit the sport by at large and the country. And I think if more people take themselves out of the equation, man, I think that's the issue sometimes. Is like, I want to give, but I want everybody to know that I'm giving. I want to donate, but I want my name to be on the building. Like, when we can stop making it about us and ourselves, I think that's when we'll see a lot of change. Because everybody is like, if I'm going to donate $1 million to the JHA or the JOA, we want this big newspaper article say, Kyle Mitchell donated $1 million. Why? You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
It's like me just buy likes. The
mm,
genuine real people, and I believe there are genuine real people out there who want to help Jamaica, who want to help athletes, but them fear this status mindset where if them give the money, there's gonna be some kind of pressure or something else. So it's up to we, bro. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Up to
Yeah.
we kind of shift the narrative, for make the change, for force the hands, for provide opportunity for the other athletes. And if we can provide financial resources, our mind is a resource. The experience we go through is a resource. This podcast is a resource for somebody who, as I mentioned earlier, in limbo and trying to figure out, all right, what's the next move? Should I take this $80,000 job offer and sit down behind this desk for the next 20, 30 years? Because if that me do, I really that me have to do. And 10, 15 years down the line, I'm in a position I can't return. All I'm thinking about is, man, probably if me try, I would have actually get for the Olympics, or would actually become one of the greatest. Or even worse, somebody who this is just how me feel. Somebody who you used to compete with and who used to link you for video, yo, what you think about this? And you used to give them tips. Them start live a dream. I think that's the worst feeling, honestly, just from my experience. When
Yeah.
somebody else who was in a when you're more at the same level and they chose to do that and you didn't, and then basically living the life you always wanted.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You have to make your own decision. And I think that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes people tend not to be real with themselves. Um, to be fair, if your reality is that if you do this thing, you go hungry and I suffer, then you just have to go work the 9 to 5. If it is that you can find a workaround and sacrifice and work the 9 to 5 and make it harmonize, then you do that. But I can't tell, me can't say to somebody, say, boy, if you don't come do this thing, you come through and come go hungry for a couple months and then you will make it. Me can't tell somebody for that. And it's
That's,
just being real. It's just living in your reality. Because some people delusional, and um, when the delusion will make them start victim blame and they will start not taking accountability for them actions.
yeah,
So I agree with you, and all that you have said. Where you know, if you can get the help, get the help. If you can give the help, give the help. But at the same time, everybody have to live in their own reality
yeah,
and do what's best for them. You know. But yeah, man, Jamaican throws, Jamaican track. I think it's in good hands. As I said, the discus is crazy right now. Even last year at trials, 66, 65, 65, and then I think 63 came fourth. It was actually a better performance than the US trials. That
Mm.
is insane.
Yeah.
And it will only get better because you have quality. Apart from the old, 'cause right now I'm at the old lady now. Me,
Yeah.
Banji and Chad are the old lady now. Apart from us, you have Kai, Stoner, Broderick, Ralford. What the 7 foot guy name again? Brandon Lloyd.
Um,
You have whole heap of them. You have whole heap of them. And then champs are gone what they are. Some record nearly going.
yeah. But creep up
Shaq
on
one.
yeah.
And that guy is a junior throwing 65 meters already. Discuss is in good hands. Track and field Jamaica is in good hands. You just need the right people to support it now.
Yeah. So Julian Robinson,
Mm-hmm.
who is a father, husband, and coach for Calabar, coach for UA. What does Julian Robinson mean to Travis Smikle?
My coach means the world to me. Um, and that's just how I feel. He was the one, apart from Noel, who came with his intimidating figure at the time and got me into throwing. Come remember, I was a little maga boy, slim, you know. And he came to the class after Noel spoke to me and asked me if I was serious about this thing. And out of fear, I went to my first training session and look at where we are today. He's a father figure to me. He is somebody whom I can reason with. Um, he's a man of God. And, you know, him being a man of God has impacted my life in so many ways on a positive um, aspect where sometimes I feel like I lose my way. Him will talk to me and say, boy, Charles, make sure I say pray, make sure I say do your this, that. He's a coach and father figure that he 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 cares about my well-being. And this has been the case since I was 16 years old when I met him, to me being 32 now. And, 31 going to 32. You know, he's an awesome individual, funny, gives great advice. He's to me, he's one of the best discus coaches in this side of the world and that world in the world. You know, I think he's the best in this region, and I think he's one of the best in the world. He is a friend. Sometimes we roll like brothers. You know, sometimes we have we little issues that we can level with him and talk to him. He's also no nonsense when he needs to be, and you will learn from that. Yeah, the man is just an awesome guy. Like, he's not perfect. You know, nobody's perfect. But he's one of the best human beings I've ever come across in my lifetime. That
I
is
agree.
what he means. That is how I view him, and that's what he means to me.
Yeah, I agree. Coach Julian is the first person to actually, in my opinion, believe in me into success type thing. Like he was the first person to say stuff to me that I could even envision for myself. And because somebody like him saw that for me, it kind of forced me to see it for myself. You know? And that was the first time ever in my life where I was throwing probably 16 at the time. And coach looked at me, 216 meters, and said, you know, you can win champs. And I'm like, win champs? I remember win champs 216. And he said, if you work hard and you do what you're supposed to do, you can win champs. And it wasn't until him said that I thought he was joking at first. But him said, and so said, man, I guess it's so done, but when him said that, it was like the lighter. It's like him light the flame. And it's like every day I keep throw wood on the fire. Every day, as I mentioned earlier, discipline, work ethic, consistency. He was the captain to the ship, but at the end of the day, I had to make sure the ship was going and doing what it's supposed to do. Clean the deck, all of them things, then. Taking care of the things behind the scenes, the things where him can do, controlling the controllables. And I saw success, so I agree 100%.
Pretty awesome guy, man. One
Any,
of the best.
anytime you have a professional relationship with somebody, and in my opinion, it trickle into like a personal relationship. Like if I can call when I was going to propose to my wife, coach was one of the first person I linked and said, "Hey, coach, what do you think about marriage?" You know what I'm saying? And he's also one of the first person I link in regards to throwing. But I think the point is the fact that I'm going to call him for something personal. It kind of speaks volume to the person,
How you doing? Mm-hmm.
character we have, and just the respect I have for him as an individual.
Yeah, yeah, agreed,
Yeah.
100%.
Speaking of love and energy and everything, obviously a lot of people know that you train with Frederick. We know him as Banjay. Your origin story is based on, you being around like-minded people who at the time were more successful than you, and how it kind of put you in a position for iron and continue to move forward. What is it like training with Frederick? What is the energy like in the camp, and how do you guys see competitive rivalry as Jamaican discus throwers?
You don't know the answer to that question, ah, Banjay. Yeah, anybody who know Banjay knows that Banjay just is Banjay. Yeah. Cool guy. High energy, extroverted, full of vibes, funny. I can say that Banjay keeps me sharp, 100%. He is my training partner, yes, but he's also my he's also my competition, and whether it be the gym or whether it be throwing, I'm always trying to stay sharp because he's a quality athlete. Everybody know what Banjay do in terms of what he's done on the senior level. I've been to many championships with Banjay. The man is he's just a very good discus thrower, elite, one of the best.
Yeah.
And to have him as my training partner, I think it's a blessing. Our personalities are very different. Our views on certain things are very different. But I think we are mature enough to have a professional relationship. And also, he's my brother. He's a man I'm going to grow with from Calabar.
Yeah.
We've been there when Toby Maga like dog look hungry. A lot of people would never know. But I've seen him grow. And I am very happy for his success, all of the things he's achieved. Him contributing in his own way and putting Jamaica on the map with regards to discus throwing in his own way. He's just, him very ambitious, high achieving. He's a guy where believe in himself, and you need that. And one of the biggest reasons why he has achieved so much in his career so far is because he believes in himself 100%. Hard worker,
Yeah.
very competitive. Him competing at everything.
Yeah.
Down to the FIFA when me I beat up him face, you know. The man just nah give up. And yeah, he's fun to be around. Obviously not perfect, but who wants perfection when you have people who you can create good moments with? And
Yeah.
he's that guy, you know?
Yeah,
Rate him.
you need it crazy when you actually think about the idea of perfection, because perfection, if you really think about it, don't have any form of choice. You need good and bad to experience life. Because if it's all good, there's nothing to compare it to.
Facts.
So it's so great to hear you talk about Frederick, hear you talk about Coach Julian, and just hear you talk about everything in general. And I feel like for those who are watching, they definitely, well, if they don't know, now they know, the type of person that you are, the mentality that you have, and everything. So, one last question. In regards to your future, looking forward, what are some of your aspirations, in the discus? Like, what are some things that Travis Smikle wants to achieve before you decide to, close this chapter?
All right. Well, when I look in my cabinet, medal cabinet.
Yeah.
We have CAC, NACAC, Panams. We have all the regional medals, but I don't have, and I have a world medal on the youth level, but I don't have a global, I don't have, and I have Commonwealth, but I don't have a world medal from either Olympics or World Championships. So I'm in, and I want people to understand the context, because I'm in an era of discus throwing where you throw 67, 68, you know, guaranteed for win.
Yeah.
And I can tell you, prior to 2022, from 2019 go straight down, you could have thrown 67 and you guaranteed a medal.
Yeah.
We're in an era where you have discus throwers throwing 71, 70 meters and can't even win. You have third place throwing 68 meters and fourth place throwing 68 meters too. So I'm in an era where discus throwing is insane. But I genuinely believe that if I can get it right on the day, I can medal and possibly win. So one of the things I want to achieve before my career is over is to medal at the Olympics, medal at the World Champs. I mean, those are obvious goals. And just leave the sport as one of the best.
Yeah.
You know, just leave my mark.
Yeah. Well, me believe in it.
Yeah.
It's great that you have a goal like that. I say that's a big goal, but
The goals have to be big enough, Kyle, because your goals, I believe that your goals must actually almost scare you. When you
yeah,
say it and you think about it, it's supposed to be like, yo, that kind of big still, you know. You know why? Because it will build character. And even if you don't reach the exact thing you say, you will fall somewhere close to it.
yeah,
So I think people must have ambition and people must set big goals. And I think those goals that I think those two things that I want for my career are realistic.
Yeah, one
But
hundred.
you have to be realistic too. So yeah, some see it.
Yeah. Well, bro, honestly, it was a pleasure having you on the podcast and just hearing your perspective on all these things. Definitely, as somebody who's been around you for probably 8 years, 8 plus years,
Only by years.
just having this conversation has made me know so much more about you as a person. And obviously, this is the purpose and reason for this, so other persons can get to know you as well. But again,
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you coming on and being vulnerable and sharing your story. And I pray that somebody out there is inspired and encouraged by your words and just your experience in general.
Thanks for having me, man, and I hope the same.
Thanks. All right.